Hey everyone, it's Desiree and I am here with Spellbinders, and they have launched a collection called Sealed. And what this collection is all about are wax seals. So what I'm going to be focusing on today in this video is their wax seal kit. Now I will show you some other products that are available in this collection. It's dies, it's glimmer plates, it's stencils that match glimmer plates, it's more presses with the brass presses to create the seals. It's more colors of wax beads. So I'll just be showing those items towards the end. What I'm going to be focusing on is this kit here, how you can work with the kit, how you can create your seals. Tips and tricks that I have found. I have been creating wax seals for some time. I use them in my other paper crafts that I make and create. And I find it very therapeutic. It's right up there with tearing paper for me. So I'm going to show you different ways. Now, the way that I am going to be showing you how to create your wax seals are off of a silicone mat. I very rarely will go direct to paper. It's hot, it can make the paper warp a little bit, and I don't want my papers warping. If I do that on a silicone mat, it'll keep it flat. So I'll explain that once we get closer to that and as I describe all of that. But I just want you to know, we're going to focus on the kit. I do have 3 cards completed using parts of the collection that I will be adhering our seals to. But again, I won't be showing how I made those cards. It's die cutting, it's glimmer foiling, and I have plenty of other videos for that. So if you wanted to see the cards, I'm sorry. I just want to focus on this. Okay, so as I said, this is called Sealed. It comes in this beautiful box, the kit. Has this band that gives you some warnings along the side. It's going to tell you what's in the box, and of course on the back it'll tell you what's on the box or inside the box as well. And this will come with a silicone mat. It'll come with your warmer. It'll come with the spoon that sits on top of the warmer. It will come with 100 gold metallic wax beads. And it'll come with your wax seal stamp. Now this one, it will look like that. It says for you. It's a beautiful image. So it's also a sentiment, which is great. Again, if you are that person that loves pattern paper to create your art with, and that is just what you gravitate to, that's wonderful. You could add wax seals for the sentiment. You could add wax seals for the embellishment. Maybe it doesn't have a sentiment and you just want that metallic feel. This would be a nice investment for you. However, this seal here is exclusive to this kit. So this is not available for individual purchase. It's only available in this kit. So I just wanted to put that out there. You can peel off, or not peel off, just slide off the band. And this is what your box looks like. You still have that beautiful foiled image, and then you slide out your drawer. So this is a great box to store all of your items in. So here are our contents inside. Our silicone mat, our spoon, our wax seal, and you can see that if we look at this, you see it up, backwards, because of course we're going to do this. Now, if you are one that has wax sealed for some time and you like to go directly to your paper, since this has a sentiment on it, you do want to make sure that you put a mark that will sit in front of you so that you know which way this is going to go down onto your cardstock so that it's sitting correctly if you're doing that. Here are our gold wax beads. And then, okay, didn't break a nail, thought I did. And then here is your warmer. Now you can see this does not come with tea lights. Usually we have tea lights in our home. Here's what you want to look out for when it comes to tea lights for this. This is low. It's not inches high. This is about, it's just over 1.25 inches high. Now you can find tea lights in different heights. This one's really skinny. This is just over 1/4 inch, and then this one here is just over 1/2 inch. You want to use the lower level tea lights. I get these from the dollar store. This is going to generate a lot of heat. And what will happen is if you take this, and I'm going to set that there, and I place it here, my wick is about 1/2 inch from the top here. So when I put this spoon in there, that wick is going to be right on this spoon. It's too much heat all at once. You don't want the flame to directly touch this. Now, what would also happen too is this will go black. It'll just get black soot on it, and you could just burn and bubble your wax. So you want to make sure that you have a lower angle tea light. Now, what I also like to do with my tea lights, I like to trim down the wick. I don't want a high flame. I want a low flame when I'm doing this. So I'm just going to grab this and I'm just going to cut it in half. And what I want to do is I want to get that lit. So I'm going to bring in my lighter here. And I'm going to light this. And I'm just going to let that settle itself. I want to see what the height of my flame is going to be. I want to see how this is going to look before I put this on top of that. So I just let that burn for a little bit. Now, I'm going to say, this needs to be supervised. This is not for young children, obviously, but I just want to put that out there. We are talking about a live flame, very hot materials. This gets hot. This gets hot. We have melted wax that we're going to be pouring. I am not saying that you cannot do this with your children, but please, it's just not intended for children. So again, we've got a flame going on here. Now I'm still going to let that burn just for a little bit more, and I'm going to move this aside. I'm liking the height of the flame. It's not too high. This is about probably, if I look on the side, just over close to 3/4 inch. So it's down a little bit. I probably could have made the wick just a little bit smaller, but you don't want to go too short or else it's just going to extinguish itself out and you'll have to pour out wax. Now, other things that I like to have near me, because these are all the items that you need. You need your wax beads, you need your spoon, you need your seal, and you need something that your spoon will sit on, and of course your heat source. I also like to have an ice cube. Now, yes, these ice cubes are really big. My husband loves big ice cubes, but I like to have an ice cube on hand so that I can bring, if I'm using one seal, wax seal, I can bring it back down to a cooler temperature, because you don't want this warm when you go back into your wax. I find that causes issues. When this is at a cool temperature, it releases better and it makes a better impression. Just got to remember that when we use the ice cube, make sure there's no water inside when we press. And again, you'll see this as I work through the process. Still liking that. So we're going to let that go just a little bit more. The other thing that you can use, these are by Deco Color, Marvy pens. Spellbinders has these. This happens to be the rose gold shade. I believe they also have a gold and a silver. And this is great that you can go over the imprinted, the raised area of your seal to give it more shine and glimmer to make that stand out. So we'll be using that as well. Now, wax beads come in many colors. Now I'm just going to shift this off just a little bit out of the way, let that continue to do what it's doing. In your kit, as I said, you'll get gold. They also have, and I can show you, they also have copper. These are copper beads. They also have a beautiful, beautiful white pearl available. And then they also have an antique gold. So this is just a little bit deeper of a gold with a red tint to it, where your copper also has a red tint, but it's more of a cooler shade. And then they do, of course, have other colors as well. Now, as I said, I've been wax sealing for some time. I store my wax seals in a plastic bin like this, making sure I'm not in my flame there. So it's got compartments that I can change, and I can put my different colors in each of them as I need them. But that's how I store my beads, and I keep them in a room. I make sure that they're not in a I don't put them down in my basement, and I don't put them up in my attic. I keep them in my house, in my room that is very temperature controlled, because you don't want to put them in high heat because they will melt. It's not fun. It is not fun. But it is wax. So even if you have that huge clump and that, you know, happened, you can cut it up and remelt it. So you can do that. That's kind of why I also have sticks, because I cut them and use them in my melt. Okay, let's have some fun. I'm going to pull back in my tea light, and I'm going to put this right off here into this corner. I'm going to take my warmer, and all I have to do is just set that right on top. There we go. I'm going to grab my spoon, and I'm just going to set my spoon on top of that. Now, I'm going to let that heat up. I'm going to want to look at that and see how that goes. And that's comfortable for me to have that like that. And I'm going to real quick grab some paper towels. Paper towels are best to have on hand. I usually will have a stack of them that I can just grab so that I can do some cleaning. Now I'm lifting this up because I want to see if this is going black. That's usually the sign for me. If this is going black completely, then my flame it's just too high, way too high. And I'm going to lift that up. And honestly, I do believe my flame is too high. So I'm going to real quick blow that out. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to snip the wick again. There we go. And then we're going to light this again. I'm going to set that down because I did have it in the heat, so I want to make sure I'm down on my silicone mat. I'm going to light that again. There we go. You do not need an inferno to heat up your wax beads or to heat up this spoon. Now that is, yes, that is so much better. Now I'm going to put that down and I'm going to set that there. I'm going to grab, I like, if I'm using a solid color, I like a nice big seal. But you can get great results with 4. Some say that 3 will do the job, but me personally, I like the big ring that goes around. So sometimes I'll even put 5 in there, which is what I'm going to do here. But 4 will do it. I'll set those aside. This is nice and cool. I don't have to put that in or on my ice cube. What I usually do is just sit it on there. I lift it, and then I will pat it onto my paper towel to make sure there's no water in it. But I do like this to be cold. You can see they're starting to melt. And what I also have near me is a pin. Just a simple straight pin. Because for this, I'll do some stirring to make sure that there's no clumps. You don't want to have clumps. As with everything, you want to make sure it's a learning curve. You'll get used to this. Because you want your wax at a good point. You don't want it too hot, and you don't certainly want it too cold. There's no thermometer for this. There's no exact science for this. It's relaxing. I promise, it is relaxing. But you also want to make sure that it's not too runny. So I'm just going to hold on to my handle, and you can see it's not fully melted yet, but it's almost there. I'm going to let that settle just a little bit. Clean off my pin off to the side here on my paper towel. That's always sitting to my side. And I'll put my pin here. And again, it just takes a few moments, and as you stir, that will also melt your wax beads as well, because it'll get them moving. Now, stirring like this, yes, you can do this when it's one color. I'm also going to show you 2 colors and how you can do a marbling, but you just can't, you can't stir it. So that one takes patience. All right, I think we're okay. I'm going to wiggle this back and forth, and it is moving. All I'm going to do is I'm going to get close to my silicone. I'm going to tip my spoon, and I'm going to pour out my wax onto the mat. Not doing any fancy swirls, just letting it come out. I'm going to clean my side off of my spoon, and I'm going to put that back up onto my warmer, and I'm going to go straight down with my press. And I'm letting the press do the press. I'm not pushing it down. I'm just letting the weight of that take over, because these are brass. Now, I'm going to let that sit there just for a few seconds. Now, they do have wax seals that are available separately that you can purchase. Now, what's great is with the handles, they're interchangeable. Okay, so you can use these if you already have some wax seals, but you don't have that many handles. Here you go. They are interchangeable. So here I have one that says congrats with a rose. I have one that says do not open. That's a Christmas one. I have one here that says joy, a mandala. And then we have one that says thanks. and then one with a rose. And we're going to be playing with all of those. I'm going to come back to this seal though, and I should be able to just, and of course, nope. To me, it wasn't cold enough, but I can just pop that right off into my hand very easily. I'm going to set that onto my ice. Bring that back down to temperature. I'm going to tap it onto my paper towel, and I'm going to set that down. So that's what my ice does. My ice takes out the cold or out the warmth of this if I was pouring multiples. I'm now going to add, I'm going to show you what a 2-color pour looks like. So I'm going to put 2 gold, and I'm going to grab 2, well, I'm actually going to grab a couple red because I want you to be able to see it. So I'm going to put a red over here and a red over there. And maybe because of all that gold, I'm going to put one more red in there. Okay. I never do more than 2 colors. I know some people, they can do all kinds. But when you have your multiple colors, you want to leave it alone. You don't want to stir it. You can poke at it, but you don't want to stir it. You just want to let it be. So while that's setting and melting, I'm going to come in with my marker. As I said, this is the rose gold. And you can see it's got a small chisel end. And all I have to do is just lightly go up over the top of the raised areas. Ever so lightly. Very light touch. Don't want to go heavy. And I'm just brushing across that raised area. And then I'm going to go over the sentiment. Again, very lightly. And look at that. Now you've added some color to your wax seal. And I'm going to set that aside. All right, so these look like, I'm just going to poke at them. Again, don't mix, only poke. When you want this marble effect, okay, the red isn't melted quite yet. All right, so I've got to let that go just some more. And I think for this one, I will show you. I'm looking. Here we go. We'll work with our floral image. I'm just going to touch that into my ice. Again, tap it off with my paper towel because I want to make sure there's no water on this. And you can see the flower sits a certain way. So I've placed a mark with a Sharpie pen that if I went straight to paper, I now know the base of that flower and how it's going to sit. Okay, so you may want to do that if there's a sentiment on yours or anything like that. Okay, I think we are set. All right, so we always keep our fingers crossed when we do a marble pour. You don't wiggle your spoon. The only thing you're going to do is, again, get close and just pour. And you can move slightly, but you don't want to move much. And you want to just keep your pour even, keep it coming out. And you want to take small circles. At least that is what has worked for me. Now I think these were set in a weird spot. I may not get a good marble effect. So I'm going to try to force it because now the gold is coming out. So I'm creating big swirls. And now I'm going to stop because I don't want, I'm going to put that back up on my heat. I'm going to grab and I'm going to push down into, not too centered, but that's okay. That's the beauty of wax seals. I don't need to have that perfect edge going around. And it's going to be tough for me because usually I get right above it when I drop it. But again, you just drop the wax seal in there and you're going to let that go so that it can set. Only a few seconds to let that sit there. Now, to clean, this is why you want a stack of paper towels. Again, this is hot, okay? Especially since I put it back into my heat source. But I want to do a completely different color. So I'm going to clean off the side and I'm going to go right in with my thumb and pull out that wax. Again, a lot of paper towels so that you can clean this out. I'm going to go in there in the center and now my spoon is clean and my flame is perfect because that still has not gained any darkness on the back of it. But that's how you would clean if you want to change colors in midstream of creating wax seals. I'm sure there's multiple ways. That's just the way that I do it. Let's check our wax seal here. I'm going to grab some of the white pearl and I'm just going to put 4 in there and let those start melting. Again, going to pull this back, put that in there just to bring that back down, and then lift this up. It peels right off your silicone mat. Now, it's a good marble. I love the marble. But because the image is so faint, sometimes you cannot see that image and the detail of it. That's why these pens are wonderful. And with this fine chisel, you just need to go straight over it with a very, very light hand where the detail is. Look off to the side and you will see it. And I went off just a little bit, but that's okay. And that pulls out the image. That helps to see that. But it's a good marble. Very good marble. All right, so that is that one. Our white pearl is melting down nicely. For this one, I'm going to show you what the joy looks like, and of course it's going to be the last one. So this is the detail in the wax seal. Just going to put that down into my ice cube to get that nice and cold. And these we can stir. Again, with 2 colors, you don't want it to stir. You want it to be even. I highly suggest, yes, I will say that, is if you're going to do a 2-color, you want that to be the first thing that you do. I mean, because you don't stir it and the colors stay side by side so that when you pour, you can get that marble effect as it comes out. Because there was gold already in there and I added more gold, it kind of, the red kind of came out first. But again, like with anything, it takes practice. All right, let's check. Yep, it's wiggling back and forth nicely. I'm going to go down to my silicone mat. Just going to pour that. I'm going to wipe off that edge. I'm going to pick up my seal. And I'm going to push right down into it. Oh, I think that one's going to be a good one. Not so much over here, but it's going to be a nice one. It's got a nice edge. So 4 will do it. 5 will just give you a bigger rim around that wax seal. I think I want to do another white one. So I'm going to add just a few more in here and let those melt down. And I'm going to show you the one that says thanks. So here's one that has a sentiment. Again, if you are that minimal creator, you know, just pattern paper, because they create absolutely beautiful, beautiful cards. This would be a great way to get that sentiment onto your card. A lot of people, this, you know, was used to seal envelopes. Again, I still create my seals, my wax seals separately, and then I glue them onto the back of an envelope. I lift this up, lightly tap off, and there's our seal. And then again, if we want to see that image, and you don't have to do that. I think though with this one, I'm going to let that go. I'm not going to put anything on top of it. I want that to stay like that. They are flexible. Okay, they can bend. All right, and let's say you don't like this. You like the color of it. You can cut this up and re-melt it. So if you don't like your wax seal the way that it came out, you can change it. You can re-melt it. It's wax, absolutely. Okay, we're going to mix that up because we can. Going to let that sit just a little bit longer. And let's grab our next one. This is the Do Not Open until December 25th. So yeah, I changed my mind because it's white. So here we go. I just like to tilt it back and forth just to make sure. I'm going to go straight down. I don't touch my silicone mat, but I'm very close to it. When I pour, I'm not moving the spoon around. I'm just letting the wax come out. I tilt it up, I wipe it, and I put it back down. I'm going to grab my seal, and I'm going to go straight down. And I'm just going to let that sit. And you can see we have a nice border going around it. I am going to change my color, so I'm going to go in with my paper towel. Again, a lot of paper towels. You do not want to burn yourself. This is warm, and you can get hurt. So again, just have your paper towels next to you so that you can change your color easily. And again, that's just by cleaning this. And I don't mean to not have that too much in the camera. I just don't want to get it too close to my flame, because that would be bad. That would be very bad. And somehow, there we go. I couldn't find my, my stripe pin. I'm going to use the Antique Gold next by Spellbinders. And again, I'm going to put 5 of those in there because I do like the number 5. I do like a wider border. And you can see, I know I used the white, but you can see that beautiful detail on that seal. So we're going to get those melted. Now, this time I'll use the thanks. You can do this in a production style. You can have it set that way if that's what you're looking to do. It's however you would want to create. But what's nice is this is relaxing. You know, you're letting the beads melt. You're just, you know, you're poking at them because you're impatient, because that would be me. But it can give you some beautiful, beautiful results. I'm just putting my wax beads in my storage bin here. They do have many other wax seals available to choose from, both for holiday and non-holiday. Yes, you will get a handle with every one. Absolutely. So you'll have a lot of handles. But if this is something that you want to travel with, just bring one handle and then you can detach all of the other ones, because it's all interchangeable when it comes to your seals. I'm going to get that stirred up because that'll help to melt it. A lot of people think you got to have that high flame. You do not. Now, I do know, I do like to make wax seals this way with a warmer and a tea light. There are some that don't use that. They use other means to heat up their wax beads. That's fine. I do like this way. And I like this type of a warmer where the spoon sits into it and it rests. It's not going to come out unless I hit this edge and it goes flying. I had one before. It was really cute, but the spoon just would not, it just wouldn't stay flat in there. So it was always tipping out and caused lots of messes. So silicone mat is a blessing. I'm glad they thought of that. Now I'm just going to clean that out just a little bit from that color. And I'm going to do that quickly so that I can get my seal into the wax. Because I'm going to try another 2 color. And I want to go with pearl white and I'm going to go with copper. Oops. See, I hit the tip. I hit the tip of that spoon. So here we go. I'm going to put my white on this side. And then I'm going to put my copper on this side. And I'm going to turn them. I like to have the dividing line for when I'm doing 2 colors to be with that pour mark. Now I'm going to set those in. Let's see how this one came out. Again, this is the antique gold. And it looks wonderful. Beautiful. I mean, look at the detail. The detail is just amazing. Now, again, these do come in many colors. Spellbinders has them available for you. I'm just going to real quick grab mine. This is my gold one. And I'm just going to go over the thanks. And what I do is I just tap it over the raised area. I mean, I will say I do like the brush tip on those better. But you can see that I was able to get some gold onto the top of that. Again, I just tap to hit the raised areas. And then I've got that two-tone look. Okay. Those are still melting. Again, we don't mix those. All right, so I'm gonna, again, I poke because I'm impatient. Yeah, they still need to. So those are the wax seals. Again, my tip is I do like to have an ice cube, especially if I'm mass producing, and that's usually what I do when I need some more wax seals. I just make them in a mass production. So this helps, especially if I'm just using one press to go through. It just brings it back into temperature quickly. When it is warm, it will stick. It will stick to your wax seals and it's not going to want to release. That's what I have found. Again, you can go directly onto paper. And let's see, do I have a piece of paper? I do. So we can do one on a piece of paper. So I have one here on paper and I'll show you what it does. This is an 80-pound piece of cardstock. Let's see if we're ready here. See if I can. Yes, I think we are. I think we are ready. Yes, we are. Okay, here we go. Fingers crossed. Which one do I want? I'm going to pull in the congrats. I think that's what it says. And let's see if we can get a marble effect. Just ever so slightly curves. Keep your wax coming out. Small circles. Again, bring it up. I clean it. I'm going to put that down. Here we go. And I'm going to go straight down above. And let's see what we've got. We may have a marble, we may not. They're a lot of fun to create, but they do take practice. Again, lots of paper towel. I'm going to clean this out. And again, just going through, spinning around, and you can see it is perfectly clean. I'm going to set that back up on top there. Let that go, and we have one more. And I'm going to do this one onto a piece of cardstock. I'm still going to work off of my silicone mat. I'm going to grab some more gold. And I do like to make sure that my wax beads are touching the spoon. That'll help them melt just a little bit faster. Let's see. And there you go. I hope you can see that, but you can see that beautiful marble. You know, it just really adds to the piece when you have those two colors that just come in and merge. So you let them pour out, and then towards the end, that's where you just do a little bit of a swirl. At least that's how I do my marbling. And then you get those results. All right, I'm going to put this here. This is going to be our last one. And then I am going to grab the 3 cards that I have made, and I will show you how I put the seals on those cards. This is the mandala. You can also use a toothpick too for this. It doesn't have to be a straight pin. It's just what I have on my table. All right, let's see. Okay, here we go. Same thing though, we still go down close. Let the wax come out. We're not pouring from, you know, feet above. Tilt up, clean that, put that back down, and now I'm going to come in and I'm going to go straight above, and I'm all on that paper. And you'll see it looks nice. I mean, you can do it, absolutely. Again, 9 out of 10 though, I'm creating them on a silicone mat. I just find that when I put them on paper, the paper does warp. You're talking heat. There's heat going on here. So it's very, very possible. Now I'm going to blow out my tea light. I can touch the side of this so that I can get that out of my way. And this I'm going to slide off my table and let that smooth or cool as well, because that can continue to be used. There's still a lot left in there. And now I'm going to clean. So again, lots of paper towels because the spoon is warm. And again, I'm just going in and wiping that clean. Can you leave your wax in your spoon? Absolutely you can. Because when you start all this again, it'll just heat itself back up. I am going to keep that on my silicone mat because it is still a little warm. And we'll put that right there. So let's see, how did we do here? Okay, that one doesn't, there we go. Didn't want to release there for a minute. So there you go. It's on the paper. It's not going to go anywhere. Beautiful image. But you can see it does bow your paper. If I hold it there, you can see that it curves up and back out again. But it doesn't mean you can't flatten it out. Okay? It does not mean that. You just got to push down on the wax to get that flat. I don't want to do that. So I just go straight to my silicone mat. Excuse me. And now I have all of these choices that I can use for my projects. So let me clean this area up, and I will be right back to show you the 3 cards that we're going to make. While we were making our seals, I had shown you they have different colors, the markers that you can use, and just aspects when it comes to wax sealing itself. These are just some of the items that are also available in this collection. You have some sealed blooms, sealed ginkgo, sealed leaf sprigs. This is called sealed holiday squiggles. We have some sealed Christmas tree squiggle. This is the Glimmer swag. This is the berry wreath. It's a glimmer plate as well. And they also have full glimmer plates with matching stencils. So some wonderful, nice surprises and products designed specifically for your wax sealing adventure. Now, the one die that I didn't show you is this one. Now, this die is absolutely fantastic. It creates twine, the look of twine, and then it also gives you a base for your seal. So you could die cut this twice, have it coming off one side and then having it coming off the other, or you could just die it once and let it look like the twine's coming from your seal itself. This is a wonderful, wonderful die, and you'll see that. Okay, so the projects that I did. So here is using the full plate and the stencils. I chose shades of blue and some gray, and I used the, what was that called again? The holiday squiggles. I cut 2 of the snowflakes with blue glitter cardstock, and then I did a silver bow, and you can see they have long strings coming from it, because then when we place our wax seal, it looks like it's gathering them together. I'm going to use my art glitter glue to seal this down. And all you have to do is just add a nice glob of glue. You don't want to go sparingly with this. You want to put a nice glob. And then you're going to set it in place. I'm going to grab an acrylic block and place that on top of it so that it will adhere down. And I'm going to let that set just for a little bit. For this one, I used the wreath, the berry wreath glimmer plate. So what I'm going to do, and I made a bow here out of some twine, and I just used some polished brass. I'm going to put my bow at the base of the wreath. I didn't tie it tight, and that's because I knew I was putting my wax seal on top. Again, I'm going to give it a generous amount, and I'm going to place that right over the bow. And once again, I'm going to come in with another plate, give it some pressure, and let that dry. I'm going to set that aside. And then for my last one, I had all kinds of fun with my last one. So I used the holiday, the Christmas tree squiggle, and I added a gold star and some ornaments. It comes with the die. And then I also used the leaf sprig. And I have all of these tendrils down here, and I'm okay with that. If you don't like that look, okay, we can take this and cut that one. Okay, that flew where I didn't want it to. So it looks like it's just coming from the side here. But this is that die that creates the look of twine being wrapped around. Again, I'm going to put generous amount of my art glitter glue, and you can see it does have a base here. I'm going to turn that over and put that right over. And again, I'm going to grab something heavy. You do want to make sure that you're putting weight on top of these if you're not going directly to the paper, so that they will adhere. I've never had a problem. And I've always, again, 9 out of 10, I am creating my wax seals on silicone mats and peeling them off. All right, let's go back to the first one. And I think we're good. And we are. And there you go. I used the do not open until December 25th. So it's an adorable, and again, because they're all crossing behind the seal, it looks like the seal has captured them. This one here is the berry wreath with the joy wax seal, and then I just put a twine bow underneath that. And then this one here, I used the thanks. We added that little bit of gold on top of the thanks. And I did use the cover plate, the dimensional cover plate on a piece of vellum. And then just accented it with some beads. And the foil that I used here was prism. So these are the 3 cards that we made after we created our wax seals. I hope you found this video helpful. I know it's long. I know I gabbed. But for those of you that know me, I want to make sure that you have all the information, at least that I have, that may help you. There may have been just a few tips or tricks. I am sure there are going to be many other videos when it comes to this product, and I encourage you to watch those as well to learn even more. We all create, but we all create differently. And we all have our own ways of creating, and that's the beauty of that. But I do hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you'll look at this and say, okay, yeah, maybe I could go into that type of an embellishment. And then that's where you can stop. Again, these are great little embellishments for your projects. All the products that I use today will be linked down below in the video description. And if you have any questions, make sure you leave those down below as well. And I will get back to you as soon as I can. When you're asking about this product and I don't have the answer, I will make sure I get that answer for you as quickly, again, as possible. Enjoy. Have fun creating the art that you are creating. I would love for you to hit that subscribe button and hit the thumbs up to be part of my group here. But remember, what's most important for me, and it's always most important, always be creative, guys. And I will talk to you in the next one. Take care.